Hey y'all, my name is Keita, back on the snow full moon this year, maybe 2 months ago, I'm not sure. This is the pink full moon, well, 2 days past the pink full moon in Libra. I had started a 28-day radical heart challenge where I checked myself into the ICU, the intensive care unit where I started to view and check me out. So I'm looking in that practice, I was paying attention to the subtle energies and frequencies and messages coming from my body in response to the ecosystem framework around me. And a lot of things, if you follow that challenge, the full 28 days is not on YouTube. That's okay. It started on Facebook until I got kicked off. That's okay. But I wanted to share some more updates as I continue this practice. Maybe, and it's still a daily thing, but that practice for 28 days was me showing up and witnessing and testifying that in front of community. There's something that came through a download. I just want to put this out there, and I'm wondering if other people are feeling like this. I remember like a couple years ago saying that I am tired of the reincarnation, that I really want to, like, why do I have to keep coming back, right? And that was like 2 years ago. And I remember making a declaration that I want to not reincarnate, that I want to be part of the celestial angel energies that are helping and guiding. And then I started to get over the last couple of years informations from the Acon and the Gnosis, the Gnostic test, and just some other things. And that's just to name a few, where it started to wonder and I started to realize, well, wait a minute. Oh, and let me give you another context, really important. I love to watch a lot of historical events around the history of humans on this planet. And when you start going down that rabbit hole, you start to realize the thousands of years humans have been on this planet. And it really becomes mind-boggling. So when you think about, I don't remember how it's pronounced, but Gekopek, Goblikek, you know what I'm saying, those who know. But not just that, there's other like these foundations and layers through the crest earth, buried ancient civilizations. Of course, we all know Atlantis and all this other stuff. But if we understand ourselves as energy and frequency, really, I start to realize that I have to have been born many times. Or this soul has reincarnated. The soul that you see here, I chose to be here, right, in alignment with the Akasha records. I chose the gender, I chose my identity, I chose everything to continue to learn. So then I started saying, well, wait a minute. We have been here like, I want to say 10,000 years, but I think more. And what I'm recognizing through all of the narratives of our collective histories and herstories, the narratives are the same. The same lessons are playing out over and over and over and over and over and over again. You know, coming from this field of healing and as a mental health therapist, practitioner, trauma therapist, there's a saying about, the crazy making. And I realized that that's some crazy making history of humans. Like when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting different results. Yo, that is some crazy making existence. And I started to think about the weariness of my soul and like, It's really hard being here doing this lessons and this stuff. It's really hard coming here and starting back over from scratch when you got to go through the veil and all that stuff. But more importantly, human beings have been the things that we see playing out today. Hang with me. You know, we want to attract the stuff that's happening in America, around the world. But if you look at the stories, and some in the more recent 1,000 years, which we might be able to get our heads around. So if we look at Rome, if we look at the Cleopatra, the last era of the pharaohs, which were ruling for thousands of years, Rome ruling for a couple of millenniums. If we think about the Aztecs and the Mayans, and then we continue to hear the stories. The biblical stories come later around these ways in which we as human beings have continued to kill, maim, betrayal, and some really horrific ways around the world. You know, today our weaponry, okay, we got this hard weapon, but also we've had some weaponries throughout many of them thousands and 10,000s of years, where we have created a lot of pain and suffering. Now I want to flip that. Hang with me. Because let me pause. I believe, I know that for every act of atrocity, there's also an act of benevolence, love, compassion, and generosity and forgiveness that you would never know. I want to come back to this forgiveness piece. We're going to pin that for another conversation. My point is, one, we have been doing the same lessons over and over and over and over. And we focus a lot on the negativity, but also, what if this script could be flipped? And we could also start digging up all the many acts of human kindness, strength, perseverance, generosity, love, and fortitude, and resilience and love that has also been acts of kindness, right? I was just watching Love Again Jen's, really, by the way, if you don't know Love Again Jen, that is the girl to watch. And she was talking about the vibrational frequencies and that how we can counter all this negative frequencies we're touching. And see, I think the reason why we keep coming back to this earth, let me get back to it, is that we keep forgetting about the acts of kindness that we do for each other. The radical acts, and I don't even know if it's radical, because I'm not even going to say that word, but that's the way if we want to talk about the true Christ consciousness of Yahweh, Jireh, and I don't know about the name Yahweh because that's a whole other thing. But let's say, as we know today, Jesus, okay? And Mary Magdalene, let's not forget Timothy and some of these other characters, which are not often mentioned in our King James Bible. Another point to come back to another time. My point is, or my revelation is, we do not focus on the loving kindness. We focus on the atrocities, the negativities. And this is not about putting your head in the sand, y'all. It's about, if we raising that vibration, going back to Love Again Jen, you can look her up. That means that if I start putting into the remembering of that energy, that shifts the whole planet collective energy. So people show up every day. What can I do? What can I do? Marches, all this stuff. Blah, 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 blah. It is crazy making, right? And then I said, And this is how come I know I'm on the right track, because Love Again Jen's feeds dropped in today to affirm this. But it goes back to this ancient Aztec formula, which I've spoken about living from the 52 evolving self, higher self frequency. So imagine just for a moment, everyone's focusing on how the world's going to hell. Blah, blah, blah. But what if we could start finding the acts right now, right now? And if we can start being also the acts that add to the acts of the, and I say radical in this context because it's radical because we're so conditioned in the negative, right? Right? I'm a trauma therapist, and I know that we focus on all the adversities and the trauma, and we say that's the life, and we forget all of the blessings and the love and the resilience and the other acts of kindness that have been walking with us through our lives. And I call those the guardian angels, ancestors, which, by the way, is where I'm getting back to. I want to be that instead. My point is, why can't we practice that? I mean, the fact that I'm saying that, people are like, that's why it's radical. Guys, we've been doing this, focusing on the negative for thousands of years. It could be 100,000 years. I'm not even sure how old this planet is. But we keep coming back to this school to do the same. That's why we keep coming back. We can't get off. We can't evolve. So I want to evolve. And I don't know if I'm going to go into the light, because I think sometimes that light could be the trick that brings us back in to the thing. Like the people who, we see all the people and they guide us in the light. That's like bringing us back so we can come back into the fold. I'm not sure what the alternative is, and I don't want to be in limbo. I don't think I could ever be. But I think knowing what I know now, and as I'm preparing in my 60s to be a good ancestor, I believe that that radical ICU challenge that I went to, a 28-day challenge, check-in, hello, and testify, hello, and being witness, hello. I believe that what I want to do is practice that frequency of the love and kindness and the compassion. I'm not going to be perfect. That's the shift in my life. Like, that's the shift. That's the shift. And I just can't help thinking that if everyone started to make that shift and focus on that energetic connection, that we would flip this shit quick. And see, that's really the power of the people, meaning we have those frequencies. So, yep, there's going to be people who are feeding the negative thing, right? The news, watching the stuff, oh, la, 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 la. Again, it's not head in the sand. It's a shift in your energy and your perspective, and reminding ourselves right now. And I see it in communities. There are small, and when they add up these acts of loving kindness towards each other every single day, and we do not talk about it, we do not claim it, that's the trap. That's the trap. Right there. So my challenge to everybody else is stop feeding the negativity. Just stop it. Okay? It is elevation time. Look, I'm getting all hot up in here. Take this hat off. It is elevation time. It really is. And I know for me, I don't want to come back. I don't need to keep coming back and getting back on the merry-go-round and the crazy making shit. No, done. 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 I don't know. Done. And so I want to be the evolution. I want to be the ancestors and those guardian angels, that other way that we are the, they're either a real organic essence of our soul. I want to get back to that. You don't want to keep coming back. So I'll leave you with that challenge, that thought. Hit me up with messages, whatever you want to put. I'd love to hear what other people are thinking. But I can tell you that's done. For real. There's more downloads coming to me on these as I continue this practice of putting myself in the ICU. I won't go into them now, but this is a big one that I wanted to share and for y'all to hear. And not just hear, but feel and touch into. Because I know when you lean into this, there's going to be something that really resonates with you. In fact, if what I'm saying makes you uncomfortable, you might want to chillax into that. Peace, love, absolutely, peace, love. And may you be the blessing that you seek in the world. Be it. Ashe Amenaho.